Sometimes all it takes is a few words from a stranger, doesn't it?
Yeah, is it? That's why I love these apps.
Well, and this is, and this is part of the point too, your title is emotionally attached too easily. Uh,
Mhm.
you have the choice. Today I today I had to take one of our kitties to an adoption mediator who's been trying to find the perfect person for her. And it's all because we moved across country, and when we moved across country and had 8 moves in 2 years, the male cats they adjusted fine. They had the same experiences, but they adjusted fine. The female cat didn't. She became a very different cat. And, in my case, it's a matter of I've had cats all my lives, house cats, et cetera, to walk in and say, "Listen, I'm gonna miss her," 'cause, like, I mean, right now, um, it's really empty. I'm used to her, like, bumping the camera and trying to get my attention, and the male cats right now are at someone else's place. Um, but it's so weird and so unusual, to not have her here, but meanwhile, my partner, AKA my husband, but not my husband anymore, um, is really upset because he was so attached to her, and he gets much more attached to our pets and our animals than I do, and it makes him really responsible for them. But at the same time, when we have to make really tough life decisions like this, I'm usually the one left to do it because I love her just as much. I'm attached to her just as much, but I understand that she has to have what she needs for her to be happy. And with our lifestyle and with what happened during the moves, we are no longer what she needs to be happy. And to me, it's the same with human beings. It's the same with your job. It's the same with anything. It's going to
Mhm.
make you happy for that time period, and then it's not. Um, I met Martin in 1987 at a Doctor Who convention.
Okay.
I've never gone looking for friends. I've never gone looking for relationships. I don't look for things. I just live my life and they happen. And so he happened. And we said I do and got married because his parents didn't like the fact that we were living in sin. Yeah. So we lived a lie for a good chunk of our relationship. His parents died a couple of years ago. And again, I'm fine being partners. I'm fine being best friends. I would like to refine myself because it's been so many years in this limitation that I'd like to live alone for a
Mhm.
bit. And we can't financially do it, but he's going to try to find a place. Right now, he's in a program to kind of relearn how to be an adult, is the best way to put it. Um, and because his parents never really taught him that, and my mother is living through regret of all the crap she did to us as kids to a point where she's trying to parent us now. So
Mhm.
I want to make my decisions on my own. I'm in my 50s. I've done a lot for a lot of people through my 20s and my 30s and my 40s, but in the long run, very little for me. So it's going to be a really rough road, and it's going to be really hard for him to perceive things differently. But he's making the effort because he wants to keep me in his life. It's just it can't be the same way it was before.
I see.
You get too attached, and whether it's a parent or a child, or whether it's a relationship or a pet, it doesn't matter. You really have that choice. And I'm not saying I'm having it easier than him.
Mhm.
Um, in the long route that we're taking, which instead of the shorter one that I'd rather take, um, I'm sure he's going to learn a lot more than me because I already learned things when I was a kid. Very different childhood. He had a very protected childhood. I had 8 years old down on Yonge Street in Toronto playing at the arcade games, a large city with tons of quarters in my hands at 11:30 at night
Uh-huh.
and not getting home till 2 o'clock in the morning, and my mother looking up from her coffee and her cigarette and going, "Oh, you are still alive. I don't have to call the cops on you. That's great. Go to bed." I mean, I still feel the same as him. I just don't express it or handle it, or the way I perceive things is so different. They're technically the same feelings, but we're so different, but we're so much alike. Don't worry about getting boyfriends or girlfriends or left or right or up or down. Don't worry about what career you're gonna have. What are you up for right now? What do you want to do right now? What would you like to try right now?
Okay.
You got plenty of time, girl. Plenty of time. As for your
You're
mom,
right. You're
you
mhm.
know, worry your grandma. Take it from her, man. She's another human being. And whether you believe in God or whether you believe in Buddha or whether you believe, whether you're an atheist, whether you're culturally influenced, you decide your path. And it may not be the path you die with. No, no, JB, no, 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 JB, no. We're not doing the divorce thing. Um, Partially because financially it doesn't make sense. It's a couple $1,000s to get a divorce in Canada, um, especially if you don't have children. They kind of they really milk you dry. There's absolutely no support. Secondly, we're still on each other's insurance and we're still on each other's, so it's a separation. It's a legal separation, which means we
Mm,
will live in two different places, but a lot of our legal stuff is still um, as a
still
married couple.
together.
Yeah. So, oh God, no. It's just we couldn't stand calling each other husband and wife anymore. And he got to a point where, women kept telling me that I was so lucky because he likes doing dishes and cleaning toilets and stuff like that. But I'm finding that if he were to die tomorrow, I can't function. So, neither one of us has ever really. I've been independent when I was younger because my mother didn't follow through with a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
And my father was a media man, so he was around or he wasn't around. And their divorce was pretty nasty. But because neither one of us has had any real separate life, we're both realizing that if one of us died, the other one will stop functioning. You just we can't function. So now, in order to continue our lives and be who we need to be in the next stage, we need to find two separate spaces to live. So we're budgeting our own budgets. We split our bank account. So we each have an individual bank account. So we're no longer looking at each other going, why did you spend that money? I had it planned for something. So we're separating everything so that the two of us can be independent adults and be able to handle anything
Mm.
that happens to the other person. Um, his
JB asks, did the love disappear?
Well, what's your version of love? I'm a menopausal woman.
Mm.
The desire for the sex word kind of decreases once you stop, being able to produce babies. Like we didn't have babies, but no, we still love each other as best friends. We still love each other. I mean, ask Sonny or Cher. They still loved each other, right up to the end. Ask David Bowie and his multiple wives. You know, um, love doesn't disappear, folks. It just changes. It morphs. It grows. Like he's gotten really tired of the demands of the industry as a prop builder, and he was so scared that
Mm.
we would lose our fan base because he's not on productions right now. But the last few productions, neither one of us has really produced anything that's really up to snuff. I'm happy with our little side store that I haven't really, promoted yet, but I want to get more product in. I'm happy doing conventions again and going back to the very beginning. He's going to try just a job and still work on the store with me. It's a matter of basically we're going back to the beginning. See what happens. I mean, 6 months
Mm.
from now, we may find a different place than this, and it's got an extra room, and we'll sleep in two separate rooms, and take turns with things like dishes and laundry and stuff like that. I have a lot of scent sensitivities, which is part of the reason why he started doing everything. But if he goes tomorrow, if he gets hit by a truck, I mean, everyone thinks it's great that I haven't washed dishes in 20 years, but I don't. I don't. It took me 2 days to figure out a dishwasher. I can wire together a lightsaber, but I can't push the buttons on the dishwasher and know which one means what. It's And there's a lot of things that he's, lacking because I did it all. So this is, we have to be able to. Who doesn't love a little side piece? Thank you, Grand Admiral, for coming in and making it into something it's not. She should be
So,
taking turns. Well, we didn't. He wanted to do it all because it was mentally relaxing for him.
mm,
Like for him, it's not duties. For me, it is. So it's so we're not going to do the divorce. It's messy and crappy to do a divorce, and and this is why when I heard our lovely new lady here, who's still trying to find her way, um, talk about getting into a relationship and stuff like that. Uh, do you want to? Do you want to make that effort? If you don't want to, you wouldn't
I
be the
will make
first
that
woman to
effort
say.
for myself.
Sorry?
I
Say
need to
again?
make that effort. I need to like working on my own stuff in my mind first. I think. I don't know.
Grand Admiral, no, we expect you to lighten the mood. That's kind of your job on here. Um,
Yeah, he was always so funny.
I love the Grand Admiral. Um, don't I don't know if you're like me. I've got what's called a high functioning brain, and high functioning brains have to constantly be working. If they don't, you clock out, you zone out, you stop functioning. Um, which means you're always finding challenges, and when there isn't one, you're creating them. And sometimes those challenges are not good.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes those challenges are not bad. Are not bad. But I've got what's called complex trauma, which is where childhood trauma has been added on. So if my life doesn't get challenging for my brain, I go right back to my childhood trauma and try to add more on it so that I can have a different life, so that I can have another challenge. Instead of finding a challenge that's progressive, I go back. And that's very typical of high functioning brains. Um, if you're similar, or if you have something like ADD or ADHD, it's again similar. Um, these are all conditions or aspects of the brain that um, tends to make us overthink by everyone else's
Uh,
standards. If you don't think you're
yeah.
overthinking, if you think if you're happy with your noise, then you're happy with your noise. Don't worry about it. Be happy with your noise. Get into something. What do you like doing? To arm bears. Yes, I agree, Jedi Senshi. We should arm bears.
Exercise.
You like exercise, okay? It's not really escapism. It's things get really boring for me really fast.
Mm.
And
Oh.
I mean, I can normally hold 4 to 5 conversations at once. I can be listening to everyone in the room and stop your conversation and talk to someone else and then still hear the person behind me. That's part of the reason why I'm in this industry because you have to do that a lot.
Multitasker.
Yeah, in a way, yeah. I have burnt out many times and I've had to take a break, whether I wanted to or not, but I can do it. Okay, so exercise. So, do you like dancing?
I'm more to run. I did that like 2 times. I mean, in a day, morning and evening. But lately, because I have that bad thoughts in my mind, I do it like almost all the time in a day, and it's kind of not good for my body. I feel exhausted lately, but I cannot force it like again and again. I have to do that. Like the things that I don't like is that.
Well, you like to run?
Yeah.
Have you thought of getting involved with an organization so you're around other people who are also running and do a fundraiser? I mean, up here in Canada, we've got things like Terry
No,
Fox.
I never think
Um,
that before.
look up something like Monarch Ultra. Monarch Ultra is a relay race that runs through all 3 countries, Canada, the US, and Mexico,
Mm.
that mimics the pattern of the monarch migration to raise money for monarchs. Um, we've got, like I said, we've got the Terry Fox Run, which is to raise money for amputees. Um, Get involved with a group that's doing charitable runs so that you're with a group
Fundraiser
was
for what?
it, what's in your area. Find out. I mean, where are you? Physically,
Okay.
where are you?
Okay.
Where do you live, honey?
Jakarta, Indonesia. I will check it. No, I'm
Yeah.
Indonesia.
So, yeah, just look up your area, do a Google search,
Mhm. Mhm.
fundraising, marathon, runs, relay, words like that. See if there's something nearby. You know, I meant when you said otherwise, you go back to your childhood memories. But yeah, but it's not escapism. It's still not escapism because I'm here. Escapism is where you detach yourself from the existing moment and you're not
Right.
aware of that moment. You become aware of that previous moment or that previous fantasy or that other world, that other reality. I don't escape. I'm right here, but I go back to the patterns and I try to find a different way to. So I fill that gap with something different so that my brain thinks it had a more exciting life. It did have an exciting life. You can only do that so many times though before your brain goes, okay, I've got no more alternatives. Can we move ahead now? Because we're running out of time. You're in your 50s. Come on. You've got no more eggs. Move on. Uh, but it's a blend of realities. Yeah, there's the Monarch Ultra. So if there's something like that, like who knows, maybe there's a plant, or a botanical gardens that does like a run around the area. A lot of,
Mhm.
Asian culture has a lot to do with botanicals and flowers and stuff like that. Maybe there's a fundraiser for a plant that's on the extinction list because they can be in the extinction list too, or the endangered list. You know, find a purpose and a meaning. Don't worry about the people. Think about where
That's a
your
good
brain can
idea.
put that. Yeah, and just go out. And, you might find that that you've got an older runner who is running with you every day, and the two of you develop a really,
Mhm.
really close friendship. That when you find a man your own age, he's going to be the one that's going to talk you through it. He's going to be the one that's going to share his experience with you. So you're going to have an easier time with your
Okay,
relationship.
visit. I would say it's escaping from the haunting childhood memories. That's good, regardless if you were present in the moment. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes, most of
No,
the time,
well,
I'm not feeling that I'm living, I'm a present life. So I just living on my that kind of bad thing.
right,
That's
but
what I feel all the time.
I had to learn
I'm
to
not
pull
from
from
that
the
part.
experience. Turn it into a story. There's a new therapy
Mm-hmm.
that they're trying here in Canada. I don't know if it's across the country, if it's just here in Ontario, because every province is pretty distinct. And it's called narrative therapy. And basically what
Mm-hmm.
you're doing is when you carry a notebook around with you, and every time you get one of these memories or one of these thoughts, good or bad, doesn't matter. You turn it into a story. So you create yourself as a character. So you give yourself a name. Most people use their middle names because they don't use it on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will use a name from their favorite character in whatever show or movie they like. But create the character that is you, but is not you, and write down the experience, and then write it down a couple times. Or if you want to predict something, write 3 or 4 alternatives. What do you think will happen when this other character comes into the picture? And basically, you turn your life into characters. Now, as an actor and
Okay.
a writer, I didn't realize I'd already been doing this for all my life. Like, I mean, I've had like 16, 17 suicide attempts between the age of 5 and I think my last real attempt, I was 19. So,
Oh,
yeah,
but you are here. You are survived now.
yeah, but there's no guarantee I'll make it through to the end of my life. I don't know yet. So when I write
Mm,
something down, when I create a character, I create 100 different ways that character was born and 100 different ways that character is going to die. And then I pick which
is
one I
that gonna
like.
help you?
It has. I mean, I'm here. I got into the entertainment industry when I was 8. I'm now 53 and still in the industry.
Thank
So,
you for
you
the
gotta.
very good mindset. The first time I tried, I was 12. Okay.
Mhm. Yeah. And it does affect women more than men, although the men that it does affect, it affects them silently. And then it hits them and it makes them sick.
It
I'm not
is.
going to talk about what Martin's going through right now because it's up to him that if he wants to talk with you guys after he's out of this program, but it was triggered by his parents dying. And
I really wish the best for you both.
how to find our own way. Yes, that's right, JB. It is very individual, and you can try. Try everyone
Find our
else's.
own way that will handle our struggle.
Thank you,
Like so
Granddad.
handle getting yourself better. Feel that. That's the thing that I'm still thinking. I don't know.
Sorry, can you repeat that again? You broke up a little bit, honey.
Yeah, my internet is not so good.
Yes, ma'am.
I said that maybe we have to know ourselves better first, so we know what we should do with our problem, how to treat ourselves to fix that problem that we have.
We only know the moment. Something could happen to you
Mm,
tomorrow and you completely change. And none of us will recognize you. And that's okay,
see.
because that means you had a life experience. What's the point of living
Mm,
if you're not going to have experiences? Right? I mean,
that's right.
you got to live.
It makes me feel much better by talking to all people on here.
well, I don't have my master's cards with
Yeah,
me, or I'd pull one for you.
I don't know. I feel like, oh,
Yeah, love yourself.
I feel like
See,
I'm
there's a
not
reason she
alone,
calls
and
herself
then
Maureen.
people give me more positive
See,
vibes, so it feels good.
we're going to share with you what we got to spare. Those of us who aren't so smart
Okay.
about it and are insecure are going to overshare with you and overfill you and leave nothing for ourselves.
Oh,
Those of us who have the experiences where we've already done that numerous times and have burnt out are only going to share with you what our limitations are, within our own boundaries. And over time, you're going to be able to tell the difference. One, you're going to feel this euphoria that plummets when that person isn't around, which isn't good because then now
mm,
you've lost yourself in the other person. They mean well. They're not they're not being evil to you, they're not being horrible to you, but it's just too much. They're giving you too
it is.
much. You're not being your independent self. And then there's those who have burnt out like me. And I will share with you and you can take or leave because you're not me. And if you take a few little pieces from me and a few little pieces from someone else, then you might
Mm,
find yourself in that mess, but don't be surprised. A month down the road, you may look at it all and go, "Oh God, I tried that and that did not work. I am not doing that again." You may completely change your mind, and most of us are not going to get offended or upset. Those who do, just tell them to go have their own experiences, and you'll see them when you get back. When they get back. Yeah, it just
mm,
Warrior Grandma's right. We're individuals. I'm more my father's
yes.
child than my mother's, but it doesn't make me my father. Yeah, I
Noted.
don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
My stream
I
tomorrow.
need to I need to leave for work.
Oh, do you? Oh no.
Yeah, it's my
But
working
we were getting
time.
going. We
I'm
got
so
some great
sad.
people. And
You
see
have to
that
start your own broadcast now and talk about this
no. I gotta start
more.
getting back to where I'm sleeping tonight. Um.
Good.
So here's the key thing. Okay. Remember earlier you were concerned about as to when to be on. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Be on and with a subject like this, be on in enough time to give everyone a turn. So now
Mm-hmm.
when you're done work,
Okay,
you get back on.
I will try.
You
Thank you
are a
so much
delight,
for this
darling.
story and advice. Yeah, it
You are
really
welcome.
makes me feel better. And I
Oh,
really
good.
wish the best for you both. Okay.
Thank you. I'm gonna see myself out so you can say goodbye to your audience.
Okay, thank you so much.
No problem.